Howdy, howdy. It has been a fantastic week for indie comic book reads. As you can see, I'm reading majority of Image books. That's just the way the cookies fell and crumbled this week. I'm about to go through my favorites of the week, specifically of the new releases, but just to catch you up on a few books that I read. Rook Exodus number 7, finally caught up to that one. Beautiful Jason Fabok art here. And, you know, if you know Fabok from Batman, I think he draws my favorite Batman. There was a poll on X about it. I think he definitely had my favorite Batman. And this book is just so gorgeous. It was worth the wait. I know a lot of folks were getting antsy because we wanted to jump right into 7. It's an ongoing, why is there a year hiatus? But you know what? The way that I see it, it's very similar to Mark Miller and what he's doing with Magic Order or Jupiter's Legacy. You do a volume break, do a volume break. They're just not renumbering it, and I am totally fine with that. Rook Exodus, man, 5 out of 5. Also, catching up on some Rocketfellers. We got number 9 here. A little bit more exposition on what's going on. Can you call it exposition on what's going on in the past? Amazing art. I was getting really bogged down on the flashbacks and the storytelling, but man, this one right here really brought me back into it. It really pays off the flashbacks to tell how we got to where we are right now. So this definitely gets on the up and up with Rocketfellers number 9 by Peter Tomasi and Francis Manapul. Is that how you say it? Wonderful book. I'm so glad I'm catching up on all the Ghost Machines. Hornsby and Halo. This one is coming off a lot of pull lists, and I totally understand it. It's an all ages book. You have to read it like an all ages book. I am enjoying this one though. We get the payoff. I didn't care too much for the last issue. I believe it was issue 9. This is issue 10. By the way, this is Hornsby and Halo by Peter J. Tomasi and Ramon Box. And man, this one really brought the UFO ghost hunters. It made them a part of the story, which I'm really happy about, because I was kind of not sure about the direction it was going, but it looks like it's just going to be a 2-issue arc and done. So we're kind of done with that. And that one was pretty good. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5. Also, Sisterhood. I know I'm going through these pretty quickly. I'll spend a little bit more time, but just catching you up here. Sisterhood number 4. Holy cow. This book keeps raising the stakes, and I don't know how they can just keep it going. I said in the last issue, she gets in jail. She lands in jail. It's like, where do you go from here? Well, they really bail her out, literally, almost literally. This is by Maytal Zoot and Layla Lies. The art style is not too much my cup of tea, but man, the stakes just keep getting greater and greater, and now we've got some real horror as far as body swapping. If it's a nightmare of yours to lose control of your body, I know that's a big nightmare for some folks. This hits all the right buttons. I love a good horror story without going over the top gross, and this is exactly that. Sisterhood number 4, there's only one issue left, and man, the stakes are higher than ever. Absolutely loving that one. Last one before we get into this week's reads, specifically some Halloween stuff. Hyde Street by Jeff Johns and Francis Portela. This is number 9, and we get the backstory of Dr. Ego. Now, a lot of folks on League of Comic Geeks did not care for this one too much. A little bit more talky, but I was fine with it. There's a lot of storytelling for the background. We get a little bit of like Marilyn Monroe in the world, and then a lot of narration, a lot of prose. But I like that. I like it when you have the prose that really brings out the emotion in the art. Now look, great art is going to give you not only the information, but also the emotion behind it. And I like it. You know, I think this obviously does it here. This overdone page of the obese woman that wants to have the liposuction, take the easy way out, so to speak. But you have the narration on top of it, which is just fantastic. And there was a line in here that really stuck with me, which was they confused mutilation with, or they mistook mutilation with maintenance. And I thought that was a great line. So I really enjoyed this one. Some people were saying this is their least favorite issue. This was not my favorite issue, but it certainly wasn't my least favorite issue. So that's Hyde Street number 9 with Dr. Ego. Gave that one a 4 out of 5, if not a 4.5 out of 5. All right, now let's get into this week's reads. I got my top 3 here, but I wanted to go ahead and do an honorable mention for Hornsby and Halo number 11 and Dick Tracy this is the Halloween special, so it doesn't have a number. It's just a one-shot. These were Halloween themed, and they were a blast. Hornsby and Halo, man, you can't read this and not smile, okay? This really, if you were falling behind, this one really takes you back, because you've got a really good, like, not a whodunit mystery, but you've got the parents or the teachers trying to scare the kids. And of course, Zach and Rose are not falling for it because they've seen actual supernatural stuff, so the fake stuff doesn't scare them. And then there is they go to New York, and they're basically kind of like Home Alone 2ing it, where they get lost in New York without their parents. But the greatest part, I'm gonna skip to this here, and it's gonna be my panel of the week, is the Halloween Easter eggs of appearances from different Ghost Machine and Jeff John properties as well. So they go to the train station, and you can see different costumes. I'm gonna try to zoom in here with my new camera setup. Here we go. So you can see the Halloween costumes from other Ghost Machine properties. You've got Sisterhood right here. You've got Pranky right here. Not sure who the bear is, but then you got Redcoat right here next to Zach on the train. And look at this, you get the Watchman head. The Watchman head, Jeff Johns, who did the Doomsday Clock. Am I correct on that? Then you get a little Rockefeller appearance with the puppy. I love the dog. I'd love to have a statue of their dog. Unfortunately, I don't remember their name. But that just, I had to pause there and really smile at that. So even though this isn't like the best written book of the week, it certainly did take the cake for like, made me smile the biggest. And I like where this arc is heading with the parents of both Rose and Zach being arrested on fake counterfeit charges. And now Zach and Rose are kind of like lost in New York. I think that's really cool. So that was a lot of fun to read, especially on Halloween, if you got to read that. I think I gave that one a 4.5 out of 5. Dick Tracy Halloween. This was just good. This is like what makes comics great. You could have read this 50 years ago in the 70s. Man, it feels weird to say that. And I think it would have hit just as hard because they knew who Dick Tracy was. But it's a Halloween special. And so you've got like zombie Dick Tracy. And bear with me, guys, this is a new camera setup, so I'm still trying to figure out how to center my camera here. But wow, I love the art. The art's just good old classic comic book art. I love the coloring here, you know, stuff like that. I think that looks fantastic. You get a little bit of a Halloween whodunit, so to speak. And I think it's a great balance of action, mystery. You can solve it on your own if you pay attention enough to what people are saying. They do really lead you to it, so I didn't feel that smart for having solved it. So you kind of figure it out a few pages before they reveal it. I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult, so to speak, that they handhold you to it to where you can get there before they do. But I liked it. I liked it a lot. And the action here, look at that. The machine guns, I mean, that just looks good. You get a little bit of Dick Tracy's Rogues Gallery appearances. Really good stuff. Halloween special. You know, of course, this really hits nicer around the Halloween time if you celebrate. Halloween's not one of my favorite holidays, but it's still a good read nonetheless. So Dick Tracy, Halloween special, it was nice. Was it necessary? No, but all comics aren't necessary. This was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed reading it. And then you also got this cool back cover here with zombie Dick Tracy. I think that's pretty cool. All right, so on to the top 3 reads of the week. And these are really the only 3 indies that I had pulled for the week. I believe it was a 5th week, so it was a little bit shorter. I wanted to go into Supernatural here. We'll go a little bit more in depth here. Supernatural #1. Now, I really enjoyed the show. I wouldn't say I'm a super hardcore Supernatural fan, but I think I watched up to season 8 or 9, and then I just kind of fell off. Definitely think that the first 5 seasons are required reading. It's going to be not required reading, but required watching for anyone of the supernatural horror genre. Really good stuff. The only thing that really took it out of it was the character arts don't really look like Sam and Dean from the TV show. I know if you told me their names, I would remember their names, but they don't look like them. So they don't have their image or likeness, I guess, so to speak. But if you can get past that, like this page here, it took me a while because I was like, that's Sam, right? And that's supposed to be Dean, but they don't look like their TV show live action counterparts. And you kind of get used to it. The dialogue is written really well. So even though they don't look exactly like their TV counterparts, you know who's who because of the way they talk. Now it does hold your hand a little bit. You get a little recap from what's happening in the beginning of season 1 with Sam's girlfriend. I love this little intro page here. It's just like the TV show. And so if you're a fan of the show and you don't mind like taking a step back in time, because we're not continuing a story, we're just telling little stories in between, you'll really, really enjoy this one. I saw Comics Opinion gave it a 7 out of 10. Some people are kind of down on it on X, but you know what? Overall though, it really does read like a TV show. In fact, several times throughout this, I was like, wow, that's a twist that they would have done exactly in the TV show, exactly that way. So it is in 22 pages, about what you would get in the, well, I guess it's not a 22-minute episode, it's a 44-minute episode, but it reads just like the TV show. So if you're a fan of the TV show, I think you'll absolutely be a fan of this book. This is by Greg Pak and Messias, Messias. I enjoyed it. It's not peak comics. It's not, I wouldn't even say it's great comics, but it's still enjoyable, especially if you're a fan of the TV show. If you're not a fan of the TV show, this isn't going to suck you in. This isn't going to be your gateway comic, so to speak. You're not really going to enjoy it, I don't think. So really just for the Supernatural fans, I think I gave this one a 3.5 or a 4 out of 5. Rocketfellers number 10. This is another Halloween issue, but wow, we've got some more amazing art. Again, this is by Peter J. Tomasi and Francis Manapul. I love this image here. All the images of the Borganic, Raina and her boyfriend, is it Jacob, are just absolutely gorgeous. I'm glad they're taking the whole page for this. This has got to be money down the line to get the original print. But we got the kiddos trick-or-treating, little pumpkin heads. I think they're funny, the pumpkin people eaters. And then we get Raina shows up in the present and she looks amazing. And all the other people are like, hey, what great cosplay. And they don't realize, look, she's got this giant gun on her back. I was trying to figure out what that was. And it kind of is a few things. Some nice husband-wife stuff here, but then we get stuff hitting the wall. Raina finds the family. The dog saves the day again. Love that dog. Man, that'd be cool to get like a statue or a figurine and the head actually comes out like that. That'd be so cool. And then some really cool car chase action. I don't know why. It feels like it shouldn't translate, but I love car chase action in comic books. It really, ever since that Prairie Gods issues came out, that was like all about the devil and racing. I thought that was really cool. Really turned me on to the genre. Now I'm really enjoying Speed Racer. So all this stuff looks really, really cool. And of course the chase ensues, and I won't tell you how it ends, but Rocketfellers number 10, absolutely amazing. 4.5 out of 5 for this one. And it's Halloween themed. I like that they're doing the different themings to keep up with the year. It's not so much that it takes place during the time, but it's just themed that way. And I am totally cool with that. My pick of the week, however, is The Phantom number 2, man, by Ray Fox. And this is art by Russell Owen. Holy cow. And I'm guessing Russell also does the colors because he's just listed as the artist. This first page, man, this first page, I was like, this first page right here, I could read and just, it is proof of everything that is great about this comic. You've got the pulpy narration here of what Phantom is thinking, and then you've got the high stakes negotiation between the chieftain's son and the drug runner. And he's like, hey, the choice is yours, drug runner, bloodletting or profit. And they have to go negotiate. And the chieftain's son knows that he's just trying to buy time for the Phantom. And everything just looks fantastic in this issue. I am absolutely super enjoying the Phantom. This one is a 5 out of 5 for me. I like the pulpy, almost noir style narration. Again, just talking through the characters. The art is really the first person view of what the Phantom is seeing, and the narration of his head, how he notices the little things, like the guy has a hurt wrist, and another guy, his radio strap is broken, and another guy's drinking something that's not water on the job. And the narration here is just fantastic. The way that the chief's son obviously shows he's not some country bumpkin, so to speak, but at the same time, the drug runner's like, don't get too cocky, kid, because I know what I'm doing. So it was just like almost like a power control battle struggle with them. Then the surprise action here just looks good, and the Phantom is in his element. I mean, this was just, if every comic was like this, I would be a happy camper. So Phantom number 2, absolutely love. Is the artistry something to really call home about? Maybe not if you sit here and just say, hey, that's kind of a plain page. That's kind of a plain page. This kind of style of a kick, maybe there's a different way to position that or pose that. And he throws this guy up in the tree. I love that. Nothing that's like gonna like win you a Michelin star, so to speak, but this is like good down home cooking that like I want to read this every day. That's what I want in my comic books. Just good, classic, good guy, bad guy, you know, up the stakes, up the tension. And it's just, I am very surprised. So shout out Comics Are Dope for putting this on my radar. I got it off the shelf, I added it to my pool, and this is my favorite indie of the week. So I absolutely love this. In fact, I'm sure there's other, I remember there was a Phantom TV show. I'm sure there's other comics out there. I'm absolutely gonna be checking them out. This is so cool. I wanna know more about the character. I wanna know more about his village. This is the gateway drug, so to speak, that Supernatural, I don't think Supernatural wishes it could be, but this is the gateway that Supernatural, that any comic or IP would love their comic books to be, because I am ready to go out and buy DVDs and Blu-rays and learn more about this character. I think this is so cool. So Phantom number 2, I give a 5 out of 5. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you thought. If you read these indie books, were there other indies that came out this week that I missed? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe and all the YouTube stuff, and I will see you all in the next video. Adios.